And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show, and this is going to be episode 115. And in this episode of the MSK Show, I am going to be having a conversation with content creator RenownedZ3r0. It's going to be his first appearance on this show. He was on the Iron Man podcast a few times, obviously, but as you guys know, with Marvel comics and DC comics, we have some retcons every once in a while where we're essentially DC comics here. We're post-crisis, and then after that we were New 52, then we're Rebirth, and then now we are basically Dawn of DC, but now we're just like what their initiative now is, all in. We're just all in at this point now. No more reboots, no more fucking changing continuity. All my appearances are mine. Nah, just kidding, guys. But I know I told you guys yesterday that episode 114 was the last episode for the year. Now, if I told you guys that minorities lie, you guys would believe that, right? Because it's kind of a thing that black people do. I do believe in white supremacy and systemic racism. I don't. I couldn't say that with a straight face at all, honestly. But yes, this is the last episode for the MSK Show for 2024. So I just want to say thank you to every single person that has been on the panel show. And obviously, if you ever did a one-on-one on the show, you helped grow this show into what it is. So during this year, main channel, 1,000 subscribers, comic book channel, over 100 subscribers, Cloud9 podcast, 293 episodes, almost 300 episodes of that show. And then this show, obviously, over 100 episodes as well. Just going into 2025, if anyone wants to do anything, just make sure you do it because I don't try to be like this for every year. I don't try to be as cryptic, but keep in mind, everyone, you don't really live a long time in the world. We don't have much time for a lot of stuff. So focus on things that definitely matter and focus on things that you definitely want to do because you don't have a lot of time. So make sure you do that. But yeah, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, old, black, rich, successful, good looking, a lot of women.
What it is, what it tastes like, what is it?
Yeah. See, there you right now we're recording this on New Year's Eve. I don't really ever do anything for New Year's Eve. I think one year I went out to the church and it was actually a decent time there. Other than that, I would usually just stay inside and just kind of just wait out the night, or I would just go hang at a friend's house, which I did that one time, I think, actually, but I don't really do much. I don't really celebrate holidays anyway. Like even Christmas, I don't really celebrate that that much at all.
Great. I like Christmas. It's my favorite holiday.
Good Lord. Like Santa, I told him for this year I wanted, a wife,
a big booty hoe,
and some milk and cookies. I got the milk and cookies. I don't think I got the wife. So Santa, losing your magic. Oh my God.
According to Master Hobo, he's asking if you got any Santa's hose this year.
Man. I just wanted to feel what Santa's love was. For 1 year, I wanted to be that kid again, but no, I'm not. Santa doesn't visit adults, actually. But we'll start here since we had a bunch of Comicsgate stuff, of us drama, let's just say. So remember this year, about a few months ago, there was this Comicsgate award show that the smaller channel did. It was this lady that ran her channel because she wanted to support Comicsgate. And then it got the word out that none of Ethan's or John Malin's or I think Shane, one of Shane's projects were nominated. And then they literally went and bombarded that lady's channel, just trying to skew the votes or whatever, trying to make sure that certain people didn't win. It's really crazy that people say that community is great and it's good when we literally just saw people that lead said community get angry that they weren't nominated for awards, even though people don't understand this. Awards really don't mean anything. They don't. They are literally just for one's own self-validation, if we're just going to be completely honest here. I've never been a fan of award shows, nor liked them in general. And the fact that it's a Comicsgate award show means even less because people don't really like Comicsgate at all. Even people that are good within it. It still has a very bad name to it. I thought that was just what the fuck is going on here? John Malin just threw a bunch of fucking fits on 2 streams in a row talking about a meaningless award out of a channel. She had less subscribers than we do. She only had 400 subs, I think, right? Something like that. Maybe.
They have to bombard her award show and steal the election essentially, and rock the vote.
Oh no!
The election, rig the vote. Bunch of useless awards, just like the Game Awards that they get.
Mm-hmm.
It's all meaningless garbage. It's all about sales. It's not about awards.
Yeah, like that one guy that you were going back and forth, that black guy. I just had to end up. I don't really ever just block people. I usually just will leave things as it goes or just mute them if it really comes to that. But that guy was just saying some of the most absolutely retarded things possible. Like that's what I told people. There are things that are, I guess you could say, woke or whatever, as far as like gaming wise, but some things are just obviously not good. That's the reason why they don't sell very well. Also, it's kind of like how gamings have always sold. Either it resonates or it doesn't, and it could either resonate or not resonate based off of a lot of different reasons. And a lot of these games, as we know, aren't resonating. Biggest example of that would be like this year, earlier in 2024, Square Enix announced they're just not going to be only with PlayStation people. Remember, they had been basically exclusive to PlayStation for a decade and some change. They're like, nah, we're not doing it anymore.
By Sony. So they were keeping their games away from Xbox and PC. They just recently put Final Fantasy 14 in June with their new DLC Dawn Trail. They put that on Xbox, and now less than a year old, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming to PC. So I mean, hopefully it turns a tide for Square Enix, and they were taken off the list for Sweet Baby Inc., of course. So that's another good sign that they're heading in the right direction. Hopefully they've gotten rid of their ethics department. So kind of hoping we get the Tifa Tatas back. You know what I'm saying? As the developer of the game sits there and says, "Do not use inappropriate mods," and it's like, do you know the PC market? Do you know how the PC guys work? We don't give a fuck. PC guys don't give a fuck about that. There was literally a video shared by Pirate Nation. It was Tifa modded to look like Morrigan, and they modded Cloud to be Spider-Man. I mean, that is just like absolute goon material. If you know the meme of that, it's something that is like a line that they share in Marvel vs. Capcom, the original one, where they kind of sound like they're gonna go to a hotel or some room and smash or whatever. That's kind of where that comes from. And the scene is kind of in a hotel, so it makes a lot of sense. But goon hard and goon often, I suppose.
Like, do you know what the other thing that a lot of people just don't understand when it comes to gaming? This thing with gaming being inclusive. Guys, just from the very nature of gaming existing means it's already inclusive. And people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Guys, if you're like, I don't know, Indian, you could literally go to Walmart right now if you have enough money and just buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. See, like, gaming doesn't really have like an inclusive like gate to it. Yeah, like you could literally, if you wanted to game as far as like real ghetto gaming, you could literally buy Monopoly at Walmart and just go and play it with a few friends. Gaming doesn't really have like a block to it. That's why when people say they need like more inclusivity in gaming, I already know you're full of shit, because how is gaming already not inclusive? Anyone of any race can play a game. There's really just no barrier of entry there, honestly.
Right. So recently, my biggest complaint when it comes to gaming is people claiming that other people are gaming frauds or not real gamers because they don't want to show their list of games they've played. It's like it's really none of your business, and no one really is able to dictate what type of games you play or how many games you play or what type, when you game. It's like it's all on you. It's all about that, what they call it, time management. And again, just let everybody game if they want to game. If they want to go ahead and goon against some Tifa Tatas or some First Descendant, as they called it, this Gooner Gate that they just suddenly made up because some character in the game was dancing around in a bikini. Meanwhile, you got people literally simping for Stellar Blade that has more revealing outfits than what was shown in that clip. It's absolute hypocrisy that it was just kind of going around, and it's like, oh, you guys are porn brain and porn this addict and all this other weird shit that they wanted to say about people just because they enjoy beautiful women in games. It's like we've had beautiful women in games since
forever.
Since the PS1 with like Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Or again, a Tifa Lockhart back then. So I mean, what's the big deal? People play what they want and let just people play what they want and when they want and what type of games. You're not the arbiter of what people should like. You don't get to decide what games are slop and what games aren't. It's all based on opinion on the person playing.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so weird. You had like people like Melanie Mack going out there and batting that hard for that stuff, the whole Gooner bait kind of thing, or whatever people were calling it, when she herself was promoting Stellar Blade. Right. And keep in mind, Stellar Blade, even though people said it was censored, it definitely wasn't even that bad, honestly. She looked fine. The character looks great, honestly. So if someone is sitting here batting for Stellar Blade to be not censored, and then say what happened in the First Descent is like Gooner bait or softcore. She called it softcore porn. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the reason why I say women shouldn't be having opinions. You see, you hear stupid shit like that. Like, that is one of the dumbest things I ever heard. If that's softcore porn, what about that lady named Morgana from SNK? The succubus lady? Kind of known for always having her tits out. Just kind of thing your character's kind of known for. Yeah. She's actually even more revealing than the character from the First Descent that was dancing and the character from Stellar Blade. That's just kind of, it's always been the case, right? And the thing is, for me, I agreed on one part of their argument, which is like porn is definitely bad for people. That's not, but that's what people were debating about. Like, it's like that person who tries to sound smart when they'll say things like, man, like war is bad. Yeah, like no shit. You know, I guess I know we're in agreement there.
We all know things are bad, and they're not being moderated. If you watch that type of content on a lot, you're obviously porn brain and brain rotted. But obviously, everything in moderation is basically like a drug. It's like doing drugs or drinking too much. It's all got to do it in moderation. You don't want to be an addict to those things. Everything's like a drug.
Like, no one was saying porn isn't bad, but for like, guys, if you have a porn addiction, I'm just going to point out here, it did not come from you playing a video game. Actually, video games have been often said that they make people violent. There have been at least 2 studies that I know of where that's not been the case. It was proven that violent video games do not make people violent. There's something about gaming that makes people that aren't gamers think of it in such an odd way when it's not doing, it's like this prevalent myth that is constantly going on that they just don't understand in their brains is not going on. Like what I promise you, go look up yourself. Violent video games do not make people violent, but an average person will go, well, if you play Grand Theft Auto, that must make you a serial killer. It doesn't. There's no correlation to it. You are just an idiot if you say those things.
Now, the thing about GTA, there actually was a story back then where there was a guy who literally thought he was playing GTA. He went around doing things, harm to people, a couple of cops. You could actually look up that story where he actually thought he was in GTA and it was real, but that's like a rare case. That's not the general
that would be like 0.001% if you really wanted to apply that one to all the, keep in mind, that's one guy. And how many gamers have existed since like the Sega Dreamcast and the NES? Hundreds of millions of gamers. That's one guy out of a lot of people, honestly. It's just anything nerd related. People just go like, man, you must be a fucking weirdo or nerd. It's like, your favorite hobby is fishing. I would shut the hell up. But
your favorite hobby is pottery. Is knitting,
Yeah, some favorite hobbies are literally knitting, pottery, and taking care of their garden. Yeah, I love putting seeds in the ground. Yeah, that's just kind of boring. Sorry,
Yeah,
like
everybody should be allowed to have their hobbies. You shouldn't have to judge other people.
But have you noticed this, dude? It's gaming that's the hobby that people really, really go out of the way to make all these lies about and just say these most outlandish, stupid things about. Now, I understand certain gamers are definitely weird. Certain gamers don't take showers. That's obviously a case. There's definitely a problem.
Like TCGs, but
yeah. Like, obviously, there's gamers that are weird, but, like, guys, there are people who fish that are weird. There's people that garden their fucking garden are weird. Like, weird people is just not a selective thing to gaming. Good Lord, man.
Attaching it to the most profitable entertainment media out there.
Yeah. People don't know this. Video games actually make more money than movies and television and anime. Probably about, I'll say, through all time, video games will probably still be there. Yeah, video games make a lot of money, despite people claiming that they're for incels, so to speak, and it's like
kids. You just go, what about Mortal Kombat? What about GTA?
Yeah. What about Street Fighter? Literally promotes you fighting people in the street. It's kind of
Street Fighter. Street Fighter's rated T for teen. There's no blood in that one.
Oh yeah,
that's why we use GTA and Mortal Kombat, and you can easily use like Mass Effect or Dragon Age or Call of Duty or Gears of War. You could pretty much you can have a list of games that are just there's a reason they're rated M for mature. Even Stellar Blade was rated M for mature.
Wasn't Batman Arkham Knight had an M rating because of the scenes where he's pulling the Batmobile in front of that guy's face for he's when that guy's under the wheel, he's trying to interrogate that guy. And I think there's the scene where Professor Pig is like butchering someone, and it got an M rating for that. Like, I don't really get it with people. It's like, okay, if that is softcore porn and that's bad, then what's the difference between that and Batman throwing off goons in Arkham City, throwing them off a building? Why is it? Why are we policing violence in video games? It's like the reason why you shouldn't is because people know, just objectively, we don't even have to say this because it's self-explanatory. It's not real. That's the reason why. We all know it's not real. That's the point of it.
Teach your children what's the difference between reality and fiction.
Yeah, like if I was doing what Batman was doing to people in real life, I'd probably call the cops on me, probably go to jail, obviously. But we know you're not supposed to do that in real life, and you don't. That's why you don't see that. I think there's this thing with people on the internet where their brains aren't exactly thinking about different things, and they can only think about like one thing all the time. Like I remember you had a few back and forth with John De La Rose about the whole Gooner bait thing. Oh my god.
I ratioed the fuck out of him. I ratioed him that time because I'm like, nobody's trying to cancel you. It's nobody.
Yeah, a lot of people do that self-victimhood stuff where like this person is trying to cancel me, and it's like, cancel you how? That's not how canceling works. That's the problem with things that happen as far as cancel culture, because then people think that it's happening to them. It's not. Cancel culture essentially means you lose everything. Like you have nothing, and you have to essentially build from scratch. Someone saying I disagree with your terrible movie opinion or a good one, it doesn't mean they're canceling you. Just not how that works, actually. Let's play Call of Duty in real life, no respawn. Oh Lord, let's not do that. That's how you die.
I did read that from Hobo.
Oh, good God. Well, speaking of the Ripaverse, we just had the Ripaveal showcase. You guys know I did my reaction to that video they put out, and then I talked about the collected edition and the whole bit that the detractors gave Eric's employee who's been diagnosed with cancer about like the whole shirt thing. Man, do people know this? St. Jude's Hospital, the one that does the funding for the children's cancers or whatever, do you know, guys, people know that they sell merch too, right? I just come to realize that anything and everything Eric July does is gonna just be met with some level of scrutiny, even though it's not anything that bad. Hey, we made a shirt for you to support for our employee that has cancer. Random retard on the internet goes, man, you're profiting from it.
Oh no, there's a specific retard that said that. We know his name.
It's like
it's Juju the cow. The net proceeds are. I did all the calculations. It's $2. Just you know what? I say this all the time about this stuff. Just add it to the list of things Eric July invented. Apparently, Eric July invented creating merch for charity.
Good Lord, just people are like, oh my God, why is he creating an omnibus? I almost just have to go like, these are supposed to be comic book fans. I'm supposed to tell myself that these are comic book people asking why did a company make a collected edition? And to be fair, I don't think it will even classify as an omnibus because usually omnibuses are like 800 pages plus. Theirs would be more like a compendium, if we're being honest. But it's fine. First of all, you can easily get a compendium out of what they're doing because each of the books are more than 96 pages. Like the first ISOM book is 96 pages. ISO number 2 is what, 110, I think.
116.
116. And sorry, well, not ISO 2. Alpha Core is 110, I think. Yaira's
I think all of them were 96. I think all of them were 96, honestly.
Yeah, all the books are like 96 pages plus. You could easily get a compendium out of that. And people are like, but I want to see ISOM get one first. But that is just, good Lord. It's like, making this doesn't mean you won't get an ISOM compendium eventually. Like, dude, I had to learn this, man. People just can't think of more than one thing at a time. They only can think of one thing. That's it.
That's why I constantly call them comicsers. I know these people don't buy comics or read comics or anything. You notice how none of them ever talk about literally anything else?
Yeah.
Like, do they ever talk about the comics from indie creators that they actually receive and read? Oh, but Von Klaus, Von Karen himself is like, oh, all these anti-CG people need to stop talking shit and just talk about the comics they like and the things that they find fun. It's like, do you watch my channel at all, or do you just shit talk from behind a block?
Yeah, I heard that. He was like, why don't more people just talk about comic books they like? Man, sounds like you should look in the mirror, Vaughn. Start doing that yourself then.
Sounds like what's his name? Sounds like all the people that like the Rippaverse are talking about comics they like. Holy shit, what a fucking revelation that is, man. And then I'm sitting here like I have 4 different comic creators on my channel, all with different universes, all with different styles of book. Like I had on Hero Darky Dark for Relentlessly Bully Hero number 2. I had Vaughn Coleman when he was on with Phenomenova issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
Mugen Lord talking about his Venus Orion comics, being kickstarted on January 3rd, by the way. No, January 6th.
Yeah.
And then I've had John's Longbox, the same guy that EVS told him to go break his neck harder, and still managed to get me Heroic Tales number 1 before I got Rainbow the Brute. Imagine that. But I don't talk about comics I like. I just talk about the bad stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Yeah, it's another thing for someone like him to say that, because earlier this year, he was just, it feels like it was going after Eric every single day. That's what it felt like. It was every single day he had something to say. Every hour on Twitter, Vaughn is just running his mouth. Then afterwards, he was like, you know what? I'm going to stop focusing on drama so much. I'm just going to not talk about the Rippaverse. Literally, a few days later, talks about the Rippaverse again. Not kidding. It's an actual mental illness this guy had. Exactly. And then every tweet most of the tweets he has, like today, I'll say, hey, because he always talks about, hey, man, people buy my books and like them. First of all, no one talks about them. I've heard no one even read. I've never heard someone talk about them, say what they like about them, what they dislike, because his books don't exist to people because no one really buys them. Or if they do, they don't talk about them. He's the same thing that Ethan said when Ethan and Eric had that, I guess you'd say, public falling out. That was mostly EVS's fault, because EVS was just trying to start drama, because this is what he is, the drama starting piece of shit. When Ethan said that people just back the books and get them and they don't read them, yeah, that's what they do for Vaughn. Even if he does sell them, no one reads them. I don't hear anything about them. And then that retard will tell me things like, well, you had me on your show to talk about your books. Yeah, when I thought you were a somewhat decent person. I have a lot of people here on this show. You're not special. I don't know how you had to get that to people's heads. When you come on here, it doesn't mean you're special. I just wanted to talk to you. What in the world?
Jay Mama on here.
I did.
He blocked you.
Yeah, I had Jay Mama fan twice on my other show. He blocked me because I posted a picture with Nerdrotic. Crazy. Even though I never had a problem with him at all. I never had a problem with that guy at all. It's crazy. I've had people you guys argue with now on this show, on my other one. And
right.
More of the episodes are like on the Iron Man podcast on Rumble side, because I only had the rest of that show at episode 500. But I can prove to you I had him on. A lot of people on that disagree. Had nothing to do with that. I even had on Richard Embry a few times. He hasn't blocked me. Probably at some point when he's not being a moron, I'll bring him on again and ask him the stuff.
You even had B.A. Turner.
I did twice, and I almost wanted to kill myself. said Zack Snyder is a great director. I was like, all right, let's get the alcohol out. Let's start drinking. Holy shit. Like,
of
that
course,
guy
he had
would say objectively some of the dumbest things ever made, ever, constantly.
We had our very own Master Hobo, with the help of a Transformers fan, show the world that Von Karen was absolutely a Punisher tourist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good Lord.
He's like, would Punisher brutally do these things to people? Yes.
Yeah. Who do you think?
Even though, do you not notice his character? One of his characters looks like the Punisher. He has a skull on his chest and everything.
It was so crazy hearing him. It was so crazy seeing him tweet that, because average people know Punisher is mentally unstable and he'll actually kill you. You don't have to read a comic of Punishers to know that he'll kill you. It's like, yeah, he would violently kill people. He doesn't like criminals. It's kind of like his thing. And most people know also they don't like the fact that Marvel's kind of dumbed him down over the years. They want a more of an aggressive Punisher that goes all out against people. You don't have to read comics to know this stuff. This is very well talked about. You know? How do you not even know basic shit?
Now all you got to do is go to Mike Barron and go buy Private American.
True. Question. What's up, man? Nice to see you for the first time. Click on this video because of the Justice League thumbnail. Oh, I like that picture from the New 52. I was in high school when the New 52 was a thing. When it was actually a thing, when EVS was causing the Green Lantern book to be like, yep, I remember that. I remember.
Funny enough.
My favorite member is obviously, I like all of them essentially. Obviously, Batman and Superman are my favorites, honestly. I didn't like Cyborg being there, but that's a Jeff Johns thing. You know, he likes Cyborg a lot.
It's a funny thing you say that. We recently went to a warehouse sale to pick up some comics, and I actually did see a New 52 that had both Ethan Van Sciver, Jeff Johns, and Cliff Richards on the front. Mm-hmm. So how is it that the guy who trashes Cliff Richards art in ISOM worked with the guy before New 52?
Good Lord, man. It's really interesting. Keep in mind, people, the comic book industry will literally prioritize deadlines over, let's say, quality. And keep in mind, when anybody says these quality bits, because we've went over all the narratives here, and we've just not I say debunked them, but we just kind of give you clarity about why that's bullshit. Even if you don't work in comics, in life, when you have a job, you have to do things in a quality time. You have to do things in a quality fashion on time. Most jobs are like that. Whether you work at, I don't know, Target, Walmart, fucking Starbucks, anything. Literally, that's how every job functions, okay? Even the comic book industry functions like that. People are like, how do you know that? Because books come out on time. People say, but there's delays in comic books. There's never a delay in comic books that is years late. Either it's months late at most, and at that point, it would be like mainly the highest I've seen is like a 2-3 month delay. That's not because the artist isn't done with it. It's because DC and Marvel are prioritizing putting things above said release to give the artist more time to finish it. Any of that stuff you guys heard is lies. If you're a person and you do not value your job enough to do a quality job on time, you're trash. You're just garbage. I'm sorry. You're just trash. You're a terrible employee. Everyone does it every single day. It's just what it is. And the best comic books came out on time. You could just go off anything. Name any names out there. Long Halloween. Yeah, Spawn comes out on time. Still comes out on time. Every good comic book comes out on time. This notion that you have to wait years for quality is just stupid. Anyone that believes that, anyone that says that is a moron. So I'll use another example here. People have been putting out their top 10 best comics of 2024. All those came out on time. Those weren't like, those didn't come out 2 years later. Those came out this year, and they came out now. You know?
As I said, I literally could have chose violence and put out a tweet before this live stream started. Pissed a lot of people off.
I always say EVS is Jeff Johns' Waterboy. Anytime I see Waterboy, I see Jeff Johns. Question. And the question had a DC All-In title. I didn't read it. It's not that interesting, honestly. But maybe I'll pick it up whenever I feeling the itch to read something. Cyborg stole the Martian's place in the 52. Yeah, that was surprising. Not seeing Martian Manhunter part of the mainline Justice League group. Well, what's crazy about Martian Manhunter even though he's popular amongst like people like say people have watched the Justice League animated cartoons, his comics never very, if ever, sell well. He has very little stuff if you actually look for his comic runs. It's so sad because he's a pretty interesting character. He's really cool. His power set is great, honestly. Most times that I've seen him in animated form, it's been a great treat to see the character. It just sucks that, you know, certain characters are only popular because they were put in animated shows, not because their comics ever were anything relevant.
You think Zalen might be that type of character?
Oh, he's the one that I'm actually interested in. I want to see how they pull off a cosmic element, because if they pull off a cosmic element big, that can lead into much more doors. Because the one book that I think is going to be the hardest for them to do is the one Sylvie's going to write, the one based around Michael. I don't think Michael was a good character at all. Yeah. Lillian's cool. Michael is like, I don't know. Sylvie's got a tough job trying to convince me that's going to be anything worthwhile. I'm going to buy all the books, obviously, but that's the one that I'm like, oh no, that I'm on the fence about. It's like,
yeah, of course.
Can anyone make Michael Cooper an interesting character? They have to do it the way Mike Barron did for Gooding. You have to make it a backstory. Because if it's not a backstory, then I don't know how it would really hit with people. Jeff Johns apparently likes Cyborg because they're both from Detroit. Oh, good Lord. Oh, my God, dude.
There's also another thing there from Hobo. Talk about Superman.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. I hope James Gunn puts Martian Manhunter in a future Justice League movie if it gets to that point, if the DCU can get off the ground with Superman coming out. Did you watch the Superman trailer?
I did not. I mean, I actually, no. I did, actually. I was forced to watch it.
You were forced to watch?
Yes, because unfortunately it was in the previews for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Oh, okay.
So,
did you like it?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I'm an old school Christopher Reeve guy myself, so.
You know what's crazy, man? Man, when you hear people saying Henry Cavill embodied Superman, I just have to look at someone and go, what the fuck are you talking about? Embodied what? He embodied nothing about Superman. I was glad James Gunn didn't pick him.
Who?
Henry Cavill.
Oh, I mean, I didn't care for Man of Steel. I thought BVS was trash, so didn't even bother watching Justice League at all.
You know, a lot of people didn't because Justice League failed, flopped insanely hard.
Oh, it's like, yeah, so we know the cut of that, you know, do much better.
Oh, question. I'd imagine your favorite character is Green Arrow. What is your favorite Green Arrow run? Like, how long have you been into Green Arrow comics, actually? I've never been that much into Green Arrow comics. I bought them. I actually have to go through my fair share of reading them. I bought the new stuff from Joshua Williamson. I bought Green Arrow Year One. I bought the Green Arrow Rebirth stuff. I think I'm going to get something else for Green Arrow too. He's a character I'm like, I tell people this all the time. I'm not obviously like, I don't know everything about comics. There's stuff I've never read, and I'll tell you guys straight up, I haven't read certain things.
There's a Green Arrow All In, actually.
Yes, and I bought a Green Arrow Green Lantern one-shot book they did at the end of this year. That was pretty cool. It's the world's finest book. Heard it got good reviews. That's a good thing. The recent thing I just read was Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, World Without Fear. This is the first thing that I read this not because I didn't want to. Sunday I came home. And at 6:30, I was going to do a one-on-one. You guys saw it on my schedule. I was going to do a one-on-one. I lost my internet for 6 hours. The guy had to come repair it in my area.
Mm-hmm.
I had no internet for 6 hours. So I was like, you know what? I want to review more comics going into 2025. And I want to make sure I'm, getting more consistent comic book review content out there. My goal is like 3 comic book reviews and maybe a trade paperback. So I read the Ripazine #2, which you guys saw me review. And then this is what I read. And then I'm going to be reviewing this hopefully tonight when I get some free time, if I decide what I'm going to do with New Year's Eve beside banging my wife, actually. Dang it.
Okay.
Good Lord. Renown doesn't believe me, man. It's crazy. No, but like after seeing the Ripaville showcase, people got to understand they're putting out a book every single month in 2025. It's not like, hey, when Ice on the Gnome #1 drop, now we wait till 2023. Then we wait till like 2024 and all that shit for more books to come out. No, we're getting a book every month.
Don't you know that EVS is trying to put out a book a month too?
He was putting out books? I thought he was just fat and just eating constantly.
No, apparently he confirmed. He has not confirmed. He said himself, his own words. He said, "Rainbow the Brute or Cyberfrog will come out in 2025."
Sure. That's real reassuring right there. One or the other will come out.
That's an actual quote.
No, you know why I know that's a joke?
Oh,
he said that at the end of last year. He said that Comicsgate will try to get out one book a year. What he meant by that was himself. Because everyone else puts out
multiple books.
Yeah, there are people in Comicsgate, like the Kings, that put out books, multiple books a year.
Mike Baron, Graham Nolan, Billy Tucci, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think he literally said he was going to put out a book a year. That nothing came out this year.
I don't think he put anything out this year.
No, I mean, unless you count the Snowman book, but
that's not his. That's not his. He didn't write it.
And that's been
late in the art for it. That's not his. So then Matt Martin went and do his own publishing, but then apparently Matt Martin is also did a variant for Cyberfrog 3.
Oh God, man.
So all that time, Matt Martin was waiting to get his book out, Snowman, from All Caps Comics. Went to go self-publish for Snowman 2. Then went back to Ethan to do a secret variant for Cyberfrog 3.
People are just weird, man. Like,
that's funny. I made fun of that because he did the shit with Tyler, where he's like, "Oh, the covers are great, but then the interior art sucks." It's like, well, I mean, that must apply to you because Matt Martin's cover looks better than your interior art. So, and I do believe that. I'm not shitting you. Like, have you seen his cover art for Matt Martin's cover art for Cyberpunk 3?
Do you think I was looking at Cyberpunk 3?
No.
There's so many better comics that I look at on a daily basis. Like, literally, Ethan's stuff is so on low in the totem pole. Yeah, I if someone said, "Look at this book," yeah, look at this one. Man, nothing Ethan's doing is even interesting at all to me.
I'd be like, look at the Rippers. Look at this Ripperville showcase. I see 12 comics. He actually announced 14. I counted 14, but 12 for 2025. He actually announced 14 comics.
But do you know what the crazy part about that is? Is this man is sitting here late as hell on Rainbow the Brute, right? Then has the gall and nerve to start a toy crowdfunder for Rainbow the Brute. So the Rainbow the Brute campaign's not done at all. Books haven't been shipped or anything, or gone to the printer yet. But he's gonna make a toy crowdfunder. But the first part hasn't even been done. Like, what are we? This is crazy. This is insanity. Question says, my favorite run has to be the Kevin Smith run, followed by the Archer's Quest, and then Jude Wick. It's a good starting point too. Yeah, I know they're gonna do another Green Arrow omnibus in 2025 with like some of the original stuff. I think they said issues 1 through 20 actually. They brought Green Arrow back from the dead after he died in the 90s. John, what's up, man? How you doing?
So yeah, I shared it. There it is.
Oh, that doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good.
That's Matt Martin's secret tier for Cyberfrog 3.
Good Lord. So is Heather getting gangbanged by all those insects?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, but that's the thing, man, is nobody cares about Cyberfrog.
Just pad them numbers, homie.
That's all they do. Yeah. He released he did a crowdfunder campaign because he doesn't release books anymore. He just does crowdfunders. He did a crowdfunding campaign for the Warts and All Ultra
again
hard size cover again. Yep.
I'm glad I ended up buying that book secondhand from his eBay store for $60, and I flipped that bitch for $160. I'm glad I got rid of it. It would have been worthless.
I still have it in there. I just never opened it because it doesn't deserve my attention or time. He's the only creator I've done that for.
See, that's how I feel about Godlike, and that's how I feel about Inglorious Rex 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got both of those campaigns. I got a creator signature tier for John Malins, which is the highest tier. I got the highest tier for Inglorious Rex 2. Didn't care to read them because I don't care. I stopped caring.
Yeah, there's people. He's the only person I've ever did that for. I had his, you know how I do the comic book calls. Yeah. I had his package over here on my desk, and I was like, nope, let me just go put that away. This is right when the trash cast thing started. I was like, nah, just can't do it. Like, I'd rather just keep it sealed in there. I'll open it maybe at some point when I feel like it, but that's low on the totem pole down there. I never backed anything from Shane. He always looked, I don't know, he always looked like someone who would just stab you in the back. He looked like a fake piece of shit.
Yeah, so Starlight Cats was good. It's like to me, it was basically Power Rangers with cats. I did a review on it. It's on the channel. So I mean, and then Glorious Rex was good. It's like, why do you have to hang around EBS and you don't need him? Like, you could do your own shit, you know. And then I was gonna get it, extend level up, but then I'm like, after he started being a scum, you know, Smug Davis, as I call him, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm glad I didn't back that shit. You know.
Check. No. Is there going to be a new Question TV show? I have no clue, honestly. No one cared about Cyberfrog in the 90s either. Yeah, that's what I heard. You know, imagine, because he said he worked at Harris Comics or whatever. So he did his own thing. Nobody cared about him doing his own thing back then. I think the only difference with it now is that there's the internet. And obviously, he basically is just Jerry Springer of the internet when it comes to like indie comics. No one talks about his books. Sorry, they're not talked about because they're probably not that good, honestly. You know, it was crazy seeing Niobe Comics go on Trashcast and just annihilate that guy. It's hilarious. Of all people, the only issue with Niobe's debate was one thing: he shouldn't have used Wrecked Planet. Should have used Rainbow the Brew. Rainbow the Brew is the easiest layup of all time. Keep in mind, guys, Rainbow the Brew is not only just almost 4 to 5 years late. He started a crowdfunder campaign to get toys for a book that's not even fulfilled.
Oh, but remember, it was bad when Yaira had a statue before the book came out.
Yeah, even though we knew we were going to get a Yaira book. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we knew.
And guess what happened? We got Yaira, number one. We haven't got if you order the statue, you haven't got the statue yet, but you know you will get it based off the Riververse's track record, actually.
100% fulfillment rate.
Oh, God. Cyberfrog works best as a semi-humorous comic. It was good in the 90s. The dead serious Walking Dead setting for Cyberfrog doesn't fit. The tone was off. Yeah, he said he was very, very influenced by Robert
Ninja
Kirkman.
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. Yeah. The only people I regret backing was Ethan and your girl Zach. Oh my God, that guy, Zach. You can tell why Ethan likes that guy. That guy was a loser. Who ever listened to that clown?
And the craziest thing about Cyberfrog and comes to Riververse and stuff like that, the people that went after John for doing the superhero SmackDown or whatever it is that he does, that when he did Ice On versus Cyberfrog, that shit, people really got upset because he did that. It's like, we know why you're doing it. We know you don't care about Cyberfrog.
Yeah, that's the joke. No one cares about Cyberfrog. Nobody. Good Lord. Starlight Cats was a video game story. You got to get all the stones to do the thing. After Endgame, the plot should be retired.
Yeah, it's literally what it is, though. You collected all the cats to some of them are lying. That's it.
And these people... Yeah, these people wonder why their books don't take off.
He's not lying. I mean, I was waiting for Starlight Cats too. I asked him about it at Tampa Bay Con when I bought the Tampa Bay exclusive covers for Glorious Rex and Starlight Cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how you know a creator is mega disrespectful, like Shane is, and that's someone I would never support. He met you in real life and decided he was gonna just talk to you and interact with this. Or it's like, he's lucky I don't punch that. He's lucky I don't punch you in the face talking to me like that.
Oh, he interacted with me as Mange. I was on a live stream with him. I was on one of his live streams before I was doing YouTube.
Like, you know what's crazy? At least EVS
that's what it's called, the clobbering time. There we go.
Because with EVS, at least he's in his own way, spiraling out of control. I mean, I think this is always who he really is, honestly. The internet just gives him the outlet to be that way. Shane is just a follower. Shane has really no opinions of his own. He's just someone who follows whatever EVS says and does. That's it. Shane is literally just a worthless nobody. He doesn't do anything. He says the most retarded stuff possible. As in, like, you know, oh, fucking hell. Remember that earlier this year, No, was it last year? Oh, no. He was criticizing how, the ISOM number 2 thing. Oh, my goodness. It was that one that threw me off from him. He said that Eric basically price locked ISOM number 2's foil cover. People don't remember, for Shane Davis's cover, he had the ISOM number 2 foil cover, which was like $100. It was when ISOM was doing the pulls like this. He got mad at Eric for pricing it like that. So if you guys don't know how stupid that sounds, so first of all, I pay you for a job, you get paid, you get the fuck away, you get out of my face, you're done.
Right.
Believe me.
Right.
I can then at that point price your work at whatever I want to. You were already paid for it. It'd be a different story. It would be a different story if like I didn't pay you for your time or your effort, right? That's different. That's a completely different story. But that didn't happen, right? It's like, what is wrong with this guy? And then he was on stream. It's like, man, I did this great cover on a garbage book, and it's like, you sure weren't saying that back then. Your tune has surely
saying
changed.
that when you got paid for that commission.
Yeah. What a piece of shit. What a fucking fake, disingenuous, worthless old bastard. Fuck that guy. Holy crap. Huh. John says, I purposely stay out of the drama, so I never heard about this. Huh. There's a lot of things, honestly. People got upset over it's clobbering time with Cyberfrog versus ISOM. First I heard of it. I should probably go read the comments of that stream. They're probably funny as hell. If he got any. Zach's comics are bad. Bad storytelling. They're disjoint and confusing reads. I'm only getting Rock and Roll Ninja as it's written by Chuck Dixon anyway. But that's the thing, though. A lot of people in this space, let's just say, think their books are really good. They're not. Guys, I'm going to be honest here. I read the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. and Marcio Menyes. This is probably better than a lot of the indie stuff I've read. Just being honest here. Most indie stuff is not like, it's either on par with stuff you get from the mainstream or it's about the same. There's really no like big difference there. I very rarely seen that big difference, honestly. But hey, people are biased to what they make, so they're going to say that it's the best thing ever. And it's like, well, I think the audience gets to be the judge of that, Like, it's not the first time I've heard, like, that guy, your boy Zach's comics are bad. I could imagine they're bad. Have people heard him speak? He sounds like an illiterate retard. Why would I expect him to write comic book stories competently? I have no clue what people thought that guy would be able to write comic books competently. This guy's been spurging out over like Critical Drinker the last year and a half,
Even though he did a project with him too.
That's how you can tell most people are just fake and disingenuous. Like, who does that? Oh, people like them. The usual anti-Rippaverse people. I had a bit Rippa fan on that night. I wanted to be fair. Oh, well, at least people are talking about it. That's all that matters, honestly. And this thing I tell people
I gotta find it.
Very fine. This is the thing I always tell people is, you always just buy the comics you want and back the creators you want. But this is another thing a lot of people just kind of forget is comics are already a niche. So when people are like, man, there's not a whole lot of money here. Like, no shit. There's not a lot of money in comics. There just isn't. Very few people get to that point, like Billy Tucci. Obviously, a lot of people like him. You can say Eric got that, like there's just not a whole lot of money here. So seeing this much infighting over comics is just ridiculous. Like Katie did. Like, we know Katie is a fake comic book fan. She hasn't read comic books. She said, I read manga. That right there is semantics. No one said anything about manga. That's not what we're talking about. No one said jack shit about manga, right? She doesn't read comics herself. She is just a fake fan who just wanted to suck off EVS's left testicle for any modicum of clout.
Remember, she said Ethan is a real man. Say Ethan's a real man and Eric July's a wimp.
More reasons why the Taliban wasn't wrong from banning women from looking at each other or seeing each other.
She said her favorite book was Black Riding Hood by John Hill.
You know why that is? That's the only comic she's read. It's really easy to have a favorite book when that's the only book you've ever read.
Yeah, for real.
Like Ethan's like, man, the Horseman was doing some crazy vigilante stuff. Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? Like, you remember that? He was like, as the Rippaverse continues to fail. What are you? Man is just now at this point just saying objectively wrong things.
No, the funny. I think the most recent thing he said that I really wanted his audience to say something about was when he's sitting there reacting to the Rippaverse showcase, and he goes, Eric July looks good in those shorts. And nobody caught that, no?
Oh.
Nobody caught that. You never caught, but we have to pull that up.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna have to find that on Student of God's Twitter.
My final straw with Zach was with him going off on people who are upset about late books. Oh, my final straw with that guy was that he basically is doing that scam crowdfunder that he's calling it comic book, the comic book. Like that's such a scam. That's such a, oh my God, that was terrible. He said on-time books look like they were on time. My books are released when they are perfect. Yep. Sounds like a true retard would say that. And people were like, this is the guy that I'm using as my inspiration to start Comicsgate. A guy who says retarded shit like that. Good Lord, were people just desperate for anything years ago. Put out Jawbreakers, which is so bad, disjointed, and confusing. I had no idea what happened when I was done. Yeah, you probably wouldn't, because if people have seen that, the way that guy spiraled. So Zach got mad at people's criticism of Furiosa. Remember that Furiosa Mad Max prequel movie? Right. That's what he got mad. He's like, man, all your bad criticism led to the movie just failing at the box office. No, Zach, it was going to fail because no one wanted it. It's that simple. What a dumb fuck.
I pulled it up.
People, I'm not kidding people. This is a guy that people heard words out of this guy's mouth and thought he was an actual smart human being. That's crazy. What world do we live in? Holy shit. God.
Too bad for Katie says Ethan shoots blanks. This masterful book.
Look, he did say that. He Ethan said that before.
Look at this shit. This is so funny. Watch.
Yay! Where you edited. Look at him. He's wearing his Rippaverse shorts. Yay! Woo! I swear to God, these shorts made me laugh so hard when I first saw them. They were hilarious. And you wish, Ethan.
Watch.
The old man.
You'll hear it.
Get PTP, says Bob Gable. He's wearing the Rippaverse shorts, dude. Oh, it's wonderful. And they look good on him. Look at
Bro. Nobody said nothing about saying.
Look at that. They look nice.
Oh yeah, this was recently. Ethan just sided with Bob. Organized. Yeah, that's just.
Oh, so did Vaughn. So did Vaughn too. He sided with the.
What did he say?
Bob as well. I'll find it.
God, if anyone sides with Organized Chaos, I'm not even like. I don't usually do this. You're stupid. Organized Chaos is an actual idiot. Like, says nothing of value and just groans retardedly every day.
Hammer.
Gosh. Yeah, I followed Zach from the beginning. I was one of his insiders. I finally got fed up with him harping on Critical Drinker over and over. It's no different than Trash Cast. Who cares? Yeah, he's just stupidly obsessed with FNT now. It's the same thing that Ethan is obsessed with Eric. It's the same way Zach is It's with like FNT people. It's like, well, now Critical Drinker is only doing videos like this because he wants to get ahead of the curve with the perceived consensus. It's like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
Here
Like,
it is.
oh, good lord. Yeah, the rumors of Ethan being gay are definitely.
Here, I'll show you. Here you go. So yeah, it says CG Goobers giving Bob organized chaos. Glazing Bob organized chaos wasn't on my final 2024 bingo card.
Yes,
Here we are.
good lord.
Bob made Eric look like the tourist who doesn't care about comics. That he is pretty hilarious, actually.
What the fuck?
Remember, this is the same guy that didn't know the Punisher was doing the vigilante things that the Punisher does. He responded with, "You guys were comparing Yaira to the Punisher." Like, bro, it's like it's because remember, this is the same guy. This is the same guy who, when he was reviewing Yaira on a video, he didn't actually read the book himself. He was reacting to someone else who read the book and was reviewing it and said, she is a girl boss character because a person who was going to assault her from behind, a prisoner, got wrecked in the comic. He just killed them off. And he's like, oh, why is she doing all this thing? He's like, Punisher does the same thing. He's like, Punisher does this? Yes. That's what we're talking about. That's what he was referring to. And he's like, oh, Yaira. You guys compared Yaira to the Punisher.
Oh, I actually got it. I think I did. I actually got it right here. I have to read it. I'm going to open it in one of my comic book calls. So your book is going to be on the chopping block to read after I review this. So after I review Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 from Zeb Wells, I will trying to, push up my production. I'm going to up my speed at, reviewing comics more and more and more. Because, for 2025, I definitely want to make sure that my comic book channel gets a lot of content as far as like reviews. Even if I'm reviewing like trade paperbacks in order, I'll still be reviewing like the new comics that I'm buying, for like my pull list and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be reading it, and I'll definitely be talking about it with Professor Savage Dad. I think we're going to be doing your book on the episodes that I have him on. Relax, change the battery in your smoke alarm so you're not distracted, and let me know what you think. That's the thing is I usually try to always be very thorough when it comes to my comic book reviews. I think that's the cover that I got. I think I got
this
that
is the main cover. I got this one and the cover that's on the back, like this thing on the back. I got this as a front cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's in this one with this one that's on the front. That's in my short box. That's in my Ripperverse short box. So
keep in mind, John's long box is a guy that had a neck injury and still managed to get a comic book fulfilled.
But yeah,
and
like as far as like stuff I found, and remember I told you I went to his warehouse. Back issues were actually 50 cents. Yeah, good so Lord. I got Spider-Man number 7 with Ghost Rider in it. I picked up Bishop 1 and 2 from limited series. I actually found this one there. I do have Pit number 1, by the way. I found that in a back issue of my local comic shop, but I did find Pit number 2. So, and then I picked up, I don't know what this is, but Union.
That's cool. Hi, Garfield. What's up, man?
I picked up Ninja K number 1.
Oh, that was awesome.
And then I got this shit. It's called Hell to Pay. I like Charles Soule as a writer for comics, so I figured I'd pick up something else he has. But yeah, these were variant covers that were $10. I got them for $2.50 each.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so the thing with me, man, it's not that I don't like back issues. I'd rather just get them in trades if they're more there, because then back issues just get a whole bunch of like you have to still put them in places, and in comic book box, I feel like like if you just get like trades, they're just so much more easier collectible, and you can just they look better on shelves too. I haven't bought package in a while actually. I think I did it when I was in Vegas earlier this year. I just did it for the novelty of it.
All of these Punisher comics. These are all Mike Baron Punisher comics.
All of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is issue 3, 8, 9, 11, and 48. These are all Mike Baron Punisher.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, Mike Baron, I think he's finished. Is he done with his crowdfunder right now for that Sherlock Holmes book he's doing?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the thing is for me, that's why I prefer just getting the older stories in trade if they're there, or I'll get them in collected editions or like the hardcovers or omnibuses, because I have a lot of comic floppies around here and I usually have to kind of find where I'm going to make space for them. I'm going to get a new dresser for comics too, because I usually put them in my dressers to make sure they're safe. But goddamn, I don't mind back issues. People always say I don't mind them, but it's always kind of cool hunting for random books and just grabbing the ones you like. I did enjoy it.
As I said, imagine 50 cents a pop. So
yeah, 50
and then the
cents
two variants were
like
$2.50 each. $2.50 each for the two variant covers.
What's the crazy part about all those books you just brought up? They all came out on time. None of them took 4 years to do. Not a single one of them took 4 years to do.
Not even this one.
Yeah. Hero Tales, which is the newest one in there, took this year to make and put out and ship from one person.
I think I've said it before, but when you actually open your Heroic Tales #1, I'm actually credited in that book.
Me and Mike talked today, and I sent him a copy of my comic. You're supposed to send a copy of your comic to Tiny. Remember? We talked about this. My comic was 3 weeks late. To be fair, but that would be like a usual delay in the comic book industry. They still have their delays every once in a while.
Yeah, my comic shop had a delay from Diamond because distribution sucks.
Yeah,
but if you open Heroic Tales #1, there's like the cards that you get in there. I designed the back of those cards, so I'm actually credited in the comic book for doing the graphics on the cards. So.
I want to ask you, what are the books that you are super excited about from the Riverdale showcase? Yeah.
Actually, I have it written down here. I did name them in a. No, actually, do I have it written down? No, I have the books written down themselves that were revealed, but my top 3 were actually Norfolka. That's the book I've been asking for since day one. Mm-hmm. And then Alpha Core #2 and Salvage. For my top 3.
Yeah. Salvage for me, everyone knows I enjoyed the 13-page story in Ruby #1, Norfolka, and I would probably say, Chuck Dixon kind of wrote the Horseman getting a #1. That one has to be like that top 3 right there.
Yeah.
I was supposed to send Tiny a copy. If you do, it means I don't have to buy it for her. So you get my drift. Good Lord. But, she would appreciate it if you did. And she would also read it, too.
It's like what Garfield Bizarre Adventure said right there. 3 weeks, given the circumstances, is very reasonable.
Yeah, and it's not like that bad.
You broke your neck, homie. I get it. I mean, to be fair, if you wanna do that whole thing, Vaughn Coleman's book was later than yours. And you know what? People still enjoy it though. So,
good Lord,
which look forward to getting backing issue 2 on Find My Comic January 3rd.
Oh, earlier, man, just I think about a month ago, we had some of a detractor, I don't know who the fuck that was, went out and made a post about the Soska sisters, about some sort of like tattoo, and all I could think about was like how much I literally do not give a shit what they put on their body. I don't care. Like, it was the biggest fake outrage thing ever.
It was from a year ago. I did a whole video on that too. It was from a year ago. It was fake, and it was for promoting a movie. It's like when they got all up in arms about the Grape Band, which was again promotion for a movie.
Oh God, it's like
it's going live on Friday. Actually,
I was trying to understand, like,
Friday.
why did any of that matter though? It's like, oh, they have this. One of them had a fake tattoo. I was like, you guys are stupid.
Well,
Like,
for one, he didn't know it was a fake tattoo. You could tell by literally just looking at it how light it was. No one gets a light ass tattoo like that in the first place. And then on top of that, they've had recent appearances where they've had their back exposed and the tattoo's not there. I did a whole video compiling all of that. Again, I was the one that told Student of God about the fucking fact that it was fake and the fact that it was from a year ago. I'm the one that gave him that information. Again, it takes 20 seconds to do the research to figure this shit out. They spend more time being reactionaries and overreacting to shit when you can literally just do the simplest of research, because they're just looking for ways to be like, oh well, they're not really Christian. That's the same guy who's sweeping for Katie Didd's freaking child prawn fiction that she read about, that thing with demon dogs having relations with children, that fake shit that was found out about her. Yeah, he's a sweeper for her. So I wouldn't take him seriously whatsoever. So.
Oh, like right here, I want to show people this really quickly. We'll just talk a little bit longer, then we'll head out. Here. This is why Eric just shouldn't interact with these people anymore. That's what I
always said. That's what I always said.
What about when you try to slander and demonize crowdfunding?
Never happened.
It's never happened. You just pointed out that a lot of people kind of just sit on people's money and don't fulfill their books, and they'll spend like days on end just streaming instead of like getting the people their product that they paid for, the customers. Then these people want to fucking complain about, oh, well, where's my backers? Where'd they go? Well, you giving them no reason to trust you now.
By the way, John, I will be there day one. When you launch, if you launch it in late January, early February, I will be there day one.
Talking about creators sitting on people's money.
Literally EVS.
Mandy?
EVS is literally the biggest example, figuratively and literally the biggest example.
Isn't that you getting in people's way, trying to prevent them from doing something? No. Oh, good Lord, man. This is why you don't talk to people like that. They're just so stupid. Just like there was another post here. I'm pretty sure you covered it in a video about the one guy crying about Rippaverse Goalpost I imagine made a general suggestion of what he said that this guy said in the video. Guy says the Rippaverse Trinity is bad business because not enough time has passed. And even that's just stupid. He's trying to hijack the double trinities of Marvel and DC. It's like, no.
I forgot to upload it. The picture that I took of something remember when they were crying about the Rippaverse Trinity and they were talking about how there were remastered colors.
Yeah.
So if you look at the DC Compact comics for the Watchmen, right on the back of that book, it says there's remastered colors in that $10 book. But where's the outrage for that?
You know why? They don't read Marvel and DC books. I'm just going to point out they never have. A lot of them never have. The reason why they can't talk about it is because they never have. That's the problem.
It's like when Jim Satala and BTM over there exposed themselves for never knowing that Wolverine's origin wasn't even until like very later on in his book.
Very later on, yeah. That's a fair criticism. It doesn't take 4 years to make a 48-page book. Yep.
That's a statement from Graham Nolan. The same Graham Nolan that EVS said that he phoned in his Yara cover for a paycheck.
And it looks like this guy does collect comic books. So for someone to say this when they have books here goes to show, first of all, good Lord, you can always make a collected edition of books. There's no time that needs to pass because of that. And also, Marvel and DC didn't invent Trinity. The word Trinity has existed forever.
I mean, the Matrix.
Good Lord, man. My God, he's probably one of those guys where it's like, man, why didn't he create an ISOM hardcover? It's like he could still do that. There's no stopping.
I bought the hardcover. So. Oh, well, he's such a Rippaverse sip. It's like I don't buy everything from the Rippaverse. I don't have any of the art books, not yet.
Yeah, I told you I thought the art books. I'm not saying they're a bad idea. It's just I don't care for art books like that. It's not something I'm going to be buying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I will buy the Will Conrad one, but other than that, like it's not my thing. Art books are not really my thing.
Yeah, or there was another thing he did that I just wasn't that interested in. I forgot what it was.
Oh, here, look. I don't know if you can see it, but look. It says it right there. Recolored pages. On the back of the DC Compact Comics for the Watchmen. I thought Horseman was very good. I still have to read Gooding, actually.
I read Gooding.
It's on my pile of books to read. I have a lot.
Mike did the best he could with Gooding because, I mean, Gooding is a hard character to really do. He basically did it in the best way you could. Not like saying it's bad. It's just that direction. The more I think about it, it was like, that's probably the fine direction to go, given the fact that at that current moment in time that Gooding came out, ISOM number 3 is not out, Marvel formats their floppy issues into graphic novel format all the time, and it's typically within a year or so. Yeah. Good Lord. You have detractors complaining about employees, and remember Tiso Spencer? He was like, well, the Rippaverse doesn't, give insurance to their employees. Eric said they do, but cancer costs a lot of money. Almost like all medical expenses cost a lot of money. Literally, guys, if you went for a checkup at the doctor, that would cost you a lot of money. Just something as simple as that, So you can imagine what cancer would do to someone with constant needs for visits.
He started up a whole channel just to talk about me.
Who?
Tiso Spencer.
Tiso's retarded. That guy is so fucking stupid.
He did 2 live streams that are called Sturgis Watch for 2 days in a row. He got these shitty ass caricatures made. He started a Patreon and everything. Like he went the whole 9 yards for this shit.
I remember when Tiso was like, hey, I'm going to really give it to the Rippaverse by like buying a product from theirs. Or he bought a product on eBay or whatever. He bought the art book. It was the original sketchbook from ISO number 1. And I was like, you hate this company so much, you're going to buy product. Oh, good Lord, man. He blocked me. I don't care. I've had this guy blocked forever. I'm never unblocking this guy.
He's the same guy. He said it was just jokes, bro. He literally made a review of the Horseman. And one of the pros of the book to him was that the Horseman has genitalia he is jealous of.
Attention, Sturgis Watch Part 2 is postponed today. Funny story. I remember how I said on stream my PC blew up because of all the nonsense. I had to watch from those Sturgis videos. It actually destroyed my PC. It finally died. Lucky for me, I've waited for this moment so I can build my new PC. So I'm going to take today off to prepare and try to build it Monday so I can continue this on Tuesday at the latest. And you see Stray Beans there. I had to block that guy because I should block that guy. That guy's Stray Beans is retarded. Stray Beans is literally stupid.
Yep. He, like I said, as a pro for the Horseman, he literally said that the Horseman has genitalia he's jealous of, and then said it's just jokes, bro. But he confirmed to me that he's pansexual, so. Not that that really matters, but it's like, come on, I don't care. Sounds like God is tired of Tiso's bullshit.
Yeah, just right here. Here. This is the reason why I'm glad I blocked this guy. Oh my goodness.
This is a cool nickname. Only my brother runs a biker gang, and they love going to Sturgis. Yeah, I heard about that.
This is some of the biggest cope I've seen in a while. Eric July needed some way to explain why his YouTube career is spiraling downward, while still allowing people like EVS to live rent-free in his head by indirectly mentioning them.
Newsflash to Tism Spencer. The stuff he's saying literally in that video, he said 2 years ago.
He's actually made sure to reiterate it constantly in live streams.
He has to reiterate. And you know what's crazy? That video got like 10,000 views.
Yeah, Eric said a while I remember him saying a very similar thing back when ISO number one. You know, before it launched, you know how he had that video. He was in that room, it was all black, where he said, "Hey, if this kind of thing takes off, I don't know where it's going to take me because I might be doing less YouTube and doing more things based around the company." Well, that ended up happening, you know. And Eric, he still puts up videos. He does the stream with is the podcast with as they drop they do 4 videos in that, so you get literally basically 4 videos a week. Still they just clip them out and just edit them. And you know, it's crazy how EVS talks about, oh, Eric lost subs. Yeah, Eric's been actually losing subs since he was 510 max. He went down to 499. Well, guys, so is EVS. EVS is at 148. He's now at 138. I don't know where's the own here. I don't know. If there's an own here, please tell me where it is. I'm not seeing it.
So as Eric's subs go down, his money goes up. As EVS's subs go down, his money goes down too.
And its influence and viewership. Because keep in mind, there are people that EVS will have on his streams or whatever. They don't even get that many backers anymore. Some of them get 1 or 2. Like Eric Weathers. Yeah, that guy. That you know.
the guy that tried to shit on Eric's 3D assets one time.
Good Lord, Eric Weathers, who used to be the original letterer for the Rippaverse, all the way up until I think Salvage PI. So when the last book he actually lettered, and then they started using another. They call it the Invisible Art Studio Company. So all that that's a person that they just hire someone to do it now. Yeah, Eric Weathers is certainly a someone. I'll say that. Your boy Zach was at 108. Yeah, that guy Zach was at almost 110K. He's
and then what is it? The Rippaverse Trinity is going to have updated lettering for all 3 books.
Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember the outrage that they thought Eric fired Gabe or hated Gabe?
They still think that. There's people that still think that. They said that he's using his big man comics as an excuse to. He's like, oh, he's still praising Eric. When Eric did the showcase, he's like, man, look at all that failing you're doing. There's all that failing I've heard so much about.
I've met Gabe in real life twice, and I know how dedicated he is to making comic books. And keep in mind, I always tell people this myself: go make your own stuff. Don't always kind of be under someone's wing. Make your own stuff. It was crazy. Billy Tucci just made a post about that today. Actually, do your own thing. You know, Gabe's doing his own thing. I read Dean Cain, All-American Lawman Volume 1. Great book. Actually, really good. One of my favorite books of 2024 that I've read, along with Wolverine Deep Cut #1. That was written by Chris Claremont. Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers Volume 1, Robots in Disguise, trade paperback. That was amazing. All of it was so good. Holy shit.
I need to read that too. I read the first issue. I was like, this is good. I'm into issue 2.
I gotta read Volume 2.
I got Volume 2 as well. Yeah.
Good Lord.
I got Volume 2. Yeah.
That's another thing is, you know, people just hate Eric so much of just making up lies. They're just objective lies that make no sense.
As you continue to see it, you know that all the stuff that the mainstream does, like Eric kind of does the same shit. It's just that because Eric is doing it, it's bad, but literally the mainstream has done pretty much all the shit that he's doing now.
Yeah, there's a reason why for the mainstream, they'll take the stuff that comes out later in the year are the omnibuses, and that's why they get delayed. The omnibuses, I'm not saying are always going to be delayed, but they're the ones that you'll see come out at the end of a month or whatever, because when you do an omnibus, you can take that extra time to apply those extra colors or pages or whatever that you couldn't do initially when the floppies were coming out. Yeah, that's no different than the Rippaverse. Now, when the collected edition, they want to put out a better product that can collect all the books and add in stuff there that they couldn't add at the moment in time when they were released. Every company does that. Every single one of them does it. And the reason why people say, but there were mistakes in those books. Yeah, there's going to be mistakes in a lot of books because we're human and we're not perfect. Like, do you want a cookie or something? Like, am I supposed to?
There were mistakes in Cyberfrog. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Good Lord, man.
You had grammar errors and you had missing bubbles, I think, in Godlike or something? Like letters, like there were no letters in certain bubbles in Godlike. Wasn't that one of the errors in Godlike? I think. feet. Running
Good God, man. Well, last few things I'll ask you before we head out is do you have anything planned for 2025 you want to do, obviously?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I honestly, I will say it since if John is still here, I would love to have John back on again for Heroic Tales #2. Me and John are going to work again with the cards again for issue 2. So I will be designing the backs of those cards as well. There's going to be a lot more cards. It's not really a big deal. I'm here for it. But right now I've got, like I said, I'll have Mugen Lord on the 10th of January to talk about his first comic for his universe, Vampire Killers #1, Phoenix Orion Comics. And then, of course, I'll have Von Coleman on the 15th, which is the Wednesday, January 15th. I'll have him on to talk about Phenomenova issue 2. So I got those things in the works right now so far. And then, of course, I'm doing the cards again for John's Long Box for issue 2 of Heroic Tales. He says Godlike was the error in Godlike. Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. I think it was Ethan, or I forgot. I think it might have been Ethan. When he said, "Oh, Godlike is the worst Comicsgate comic he's ever read, or worst indie comic he's ever read."
That's what really set him off, was when John said that John Malin's Godlike book that came out earlier this year, which was also 4 years late, was the worst thing he had ever read from Comicsgate. But keep in mind, it's not even just with John Malin's book. A lot of these books aren't good, and by not good, I mean they're not as great as they say they are. They're about okay to average. That's the reason why a lot of the backers dwindle over each campaign, or some do better, but I think the ones that have the backers that go up, it's just because they like the person. It's not because they actually read their book. The quality of these books are not good.
Seems like the only person that's gone up in backers are like Shane and Billy.
Yeah.
EVS's goes down, freaking John.
Or they're stagnant. Down. They're about the same all the time. Yeah. EVS is that's some crazy shit. Doing a toy crowdfunder for a book that hasn't even come out yet. So asking for more money on a product that didn't even come out is ridiculous. That's wild.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen, was when he made those shitty toys, which, by the way, he rehired the person that scammed people the first time they were doing toys for something Rainbow the Brew, I think, or some toy line. I don't remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he rehired a person that scammed a bunch of people too.
Oh, another thing. Remember how a guy posted all these like crowdfunders that are late? One of them was an EVS artist. It's the guy that he talked about that basically went to go do art for Magic the Gathering at, I think, Wizards of the Coast. One of his guys has still a crowdfunder that reached, like, I forgot how much money. It had like it's way over 60K plus. Like, it's like almost 100K. EVS made such a horrible excuse for this guy earlier this year. I remember reading it. He was like, yeah, well, he's now doing art for Magic the Gathering cards at Wizards of the Coast, so he may come back to this project soon. What? I was like,
see, that's what I said,
read. What is that? So this guy took all this money from people and then just went and got another job at Wizards of the Coast. So he's not going to fulfill it now, because we know this because it's been 4 years. There's been no update. He took the money and just is not going to do it. So
right.
The fact that EVS thinks that guy is going to come back to it is nonsense. That's so dumb.
Yeah, so like John said, Shane's books are competently made. It makes sense, so they're the best of the group. I agree 100%. Like,
yeah,
that's why I don't understand why Shane does the things he does. I literally said it in multiple videos. Out of the 3 people, he's the best, probably the best artist and the best writer out of the 3. It's like, he doesn't need EVS at all. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Apparently, he came to Comicsgate because he saw there was money there, not because he was actually canceled. Yeah, I could see that. He sounds like a follower. Doesn't sound like a leader at all in anything. I don't know why people think he's a leader of anything. And these girls,
because he owns the trademark, I guess.
Gosh, yeah. This thing is, I remember Niobe said Ethan was the de facto leader of Comicsgate. He was like, I'm not. Well, then why own the trademark then? Exactly. That's really just simple shit.
That's the point I made in my video with that. I was like, you own the trademark. That's why they think you're the de facto leader. You own the
there's a lot of books. Like people thought Eric was demonizing crowdfunding. There's a lot of books that are late and not fulfilled. And not just late. Late's different. Being not fulfilled is different because that means you're not even doing it. You have anything done, actually. So, do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular and anything else you want to say before we head out, actually?
Shout out to Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for the greatest super chats ever.
Yes, those are hilarious. Yeah, good lord.
That's that yellow flash 2 alt right there. Greatest yellow flash 2 alt ever.
I can't wait until Yellow Flash puts out his book so we could just see Ethan fucking melt down at how much money it's gonna make.
I'm waiting for that to happen, and I'm waiting for the meltdown with Riley going to court.
And for some reason, people think Riley going to court is Eric's fault when he literally just, keep in mind, guys, he didn't have to go there. He didn't have to go there at all. Wouldn't have gotten in trouble. Could just stayed home and just did nothing and not got in trouble. But he went there and got in trouble, and that's somehow someone else's fault.
Oh yeah, and Master Hobo and Transformers fan for slaying the Von Karen. See, they're the inspiration over my Von Slayer emoji on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
I made an emoji.
Von Karen. Yeah, Eric is not wrong when saying that late books are hurting crowdfunding. Yeah, late books definitely are crowdfunding. They definitely do. I've had people tell me they waited till my book was out before backing as they just don't trust anyone. Yeah, it's a skeptical thing when you look at how many burnt bridges are just from crowdfunders just not getting fulfilled because there's just no drive and ambition. It doesn't take someone this long to do it. It's either there's many things. There's no ambition, no drive, and you don't actually care about putting out a product if you are going on years late. Like Mandy's book, that chick Mandy Summers, her Gymshock book just went to the printers. Just went to the printer. Yeah, her book is also 4 years late. Some fucking worthless e-thought with a stank pussy.
She was too busy finger banging Dale Keown. In my opinion, I have to say.
Allegedly.
I have to say. In my opinion.
Yeah, literally, if he just didn't actually go, he would have gotten arrested. Literally, all his fault that he got arrested. What a dumb fuck.
They're like, oh, this showed that Eric July's a bitch.
This shows that Eric. Yeah, not the criminal that went out and did criminal things. Yeah, that guy's not the problem. Yeah, like, oh my god, man.
Stop buying crowdfunders in 2021 because of lateness have only recently returned. Says Master Hobo.
If people want to ever go support indie comics out there, it's not even just Eric's books or Iconic's books. There's many companies that are putting out books. If you want to go read them, there's Cronset Comics. They're all people's like, they're all like black. Alterna does it. Cronsense, like people care about this, are all black people. It's a black-owned business. The guy owns it is black. Puts out books constantly. There's Mad Cave. There's Titan Books. There's
Sigma Comics.
Yeah, there's a lot of indie comic book publishers out there, that are putting out books constantly. Literally, Image, not just Image Comics, Image, Dark Horse, Boom. They all have like other indies under them putting out books constantly. Literally, just go on League of Comics Geeks website. You don't have to look at Marvel DC. Just look at where the indie books coming out. There's books coming out constantly. So I tell people this all the time in the indie space. You're not competing with Comicsgate. They're essentially nobodies.
Isn't it crazy? I was gonna say, isn't it crazy? There's 5 Spawn multiverse comics coming out every month.
Yeah,
literally Spawn, King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, Scorch, and Rat City. That's 5 books in the Spawn universe all come out every month.
Not counting the other Image books that come out, the other books that are constantly coming out weekly. So when anyone's here competing in like the indie comic space, keep in mind it's not just Comicsgate because they're not competing with anybody. What you're competing with essentially is every single person or company that is releasing an indie comic book weekly on Wednesday. That's who you're competing with. And keep in mind, those people are in shops, floppies, can be seen by a lot more people, So that's what you have to focus on, not focusing on why Eric is taking your business, and in reality, he's not. there's a lot of competition here, not just from Eric or Iconic or anyone that you just mentioned. There's a lot of people doing it. You know, it's not just one person. So.
Oh, and I think the last thing for me is for anyone who's subscribed to my channel, I got 2 more videos to put out. One more for everyone and one for members only. So I just have to finish editing the members only video to get that out to you guys before the end of the night.
Dude,
yeah, and the Harley Quinn part book.
People said, "Are you going to talk about that?" I was so disgusted by the idea and what I saw. Nope, that's too disgusting. That's nasty. That's gross. That's fucking. Bleh. I'm good.
It's a fetish.
Oh, good lord, it's just nasty. Ugh. And they'll be like, "Why are our sales bad, guys?" You're making fart. No one, unless her asshole is fucking hell. I'm not trying to make this a joke. You know, the comic books, there's a 2-page spread. Unless there's a 2-page spread of her fucking stank pussy blowing some fart out, it ain't worth it. Just put it out there right now. Unless her butthole is literally a page spread, it's not good. You know?
Oh my god! Only on the MSK show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's competition, and the thing you said is also true. It's like, you know, if the books are somewhat talked about, then the people will also buy them. But that's also another case of like the audience gets to kind of decide what they buy. It's like video games. A lot of people just kind of buy whatever games they want to buy. It's just really how it works. But yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. I gotta go get some other things done before the end of the night. I do have videos coming out. My goals for 2025. So I'm gonna try and probably my goal for my comic book channel, 200 subs. I don't really care about subs on this channel anymore. We're already monetized. We'll eventually be monetized, I should say. We'll eventually get monetized. I already have the sub goal that I worked on this year to get to that point. I don't really care if we get more subs here or not. I know we will eventually. That's fine. Getting 1,000 is totally fine with me. My comic book channel, I'm going to try and get that channel as a goal that I want that's realistic for myself. If I put out enough consistent content for it, 200 subs. I'm going to try and get the Cloud9 podcast to be like 350 episodes. I want to do 300 episodes of this show. And yeah, my ultimate mission goal this year is consistent content in a shorter time frame. That's my ultimate goal. Everyone knows this from how much I post on social media. I want to get content done in a consistent fashion in a shorter time frame. That's it. You know, if I can look at 2025 when we get to this point next year, and if I did that, I'll be fine with it. The other things are just added on, honestly. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? So yeah, this is the final episode of the MSK show for 2024. So I just thought I'd end it off with a one-on-one, because this is how I started doing podcasting, one-on-ones, way back in the day when I was doing it. So yeah. Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK show. We will see you guys later.